and welcome to episode number 12 of the Karen Knits podcast. My name is Karen, and I'm coming to you from South Central Pennsylvania, where I live, where I work, and where I knit and do all sorts of other crafty things. This podcast is primarily a knitting podcast, and there will be times where I might venture off into some other crafty things that I'm interested in. But I like to keep this part of the podcast specifically to knitting and fiber related topics. I do have a couple other playlists on my channel where I look at other crafty topics. So if you're interested in some of the other things that I might be interested in, pop on over and check out the different playlists I have. There might be some other things that you might be interested in as well. And if you're basically here for the knitting content, the Karen Knits podcast portion or playlist is the best place for you to hang around at. So anyway, we're here a little bit later in the day than usual, so the lighting might seem a little bit different than usual. I usually try to get my taping done in the mornings, but today and tomorrow I just won't have a chance to do it. So I'm doing the filming in the evening instead of my typical morning. So I don't have any natural light coming in. It's just all the lights around in the room I'm in. So the lighting might be a little bit different, but we'll deal with that. I'd like to say a huge welcome to any new viewers who have stumbled upon my podcast for the first time today. I hope you stick around. I hope you enjoy it. I also would like to say a huge thank you and welcome back to all of my returning viewers. I'm so happy to have you come back to spend a little bit of time with me week after week. It warms my heart. So today I invite you to grab a drink. I don't actually have anything to drink today because it's late in the day. I'm not interested in tea. I don't actually have a beverage right now, but grab yourself a comfy chair, grab yourself your favorite beverage, grab your knitting or whatever other crafting project you're working on, and let's just sit back and spend a little bit of time together. Today might be a little bit shorter of an episode, but I did not write up show notes before I got started, so hopefully I won't go on to too big a ramble, and hopefully I don't chase down too many squirrels and rabbit trails. Anyway, so grab a comfy chair, grab a beverage, grab your crafting, your knitting, and sit back, relax, and let's spend a little bit of time. Let's spend a little bit of time together talking about what I've been working on the last week. So as I mentioned, I have a little thing with what kind of tea I'm drinking. Sorry, no tea today. So hopefully my voice doesn't get all scritchy and start making strange noises on me, but if it does, we'll deal with that if necessary. So again, I have no finished objects to share with you this week. I also have fewer projects to share with you this week compared to last week. Last week was a bit of an exception to my typical rule. I was doing a whip it down week where I was focusing on each and every one of my works in progress on a different day each week when I was off for the Thanksgiving break in the US. This week I've been back to work, so my knitting has been limited to a little bit of time in the morning over my tea and a little bit of time in the evenings. So this past week I've actually only worked on 3 of my works in progress. So it's not a huge lot to show you, but if I get rambling on, who knows? I'm hoping this podcast will be a little bit shorter than the last couple have been, but we shall see. So the first project I'm working on, and I'm way behind schedule on this one, are the Julenatt Mittens by Youre Knits. They are a mystery knit pattern that has had clues coming out over the past couple weeks now. The first clue came out Oh, I didn't even write down the dates of these. I didn't write anything down, so I'm guessing at some things now. Anyways, I think we're on the one, two, the third clue has been released, and the fourth clue is set to come out, I believe, on December 1st or maybe December 2nd. I believe it's due the fourth clue is set to come out this weekend. So far I have finished clue 1 on one mitten, and I've done a few rows on clue number 2 on that same first mitten. So needless to say, I'm quite a bit behind schedule on these, but that's fine. I'm enjoying the knit, and that's the important thing to me. So if you are somebody who has not started these mittens and you want to keep them a surprise, I'll put a little timestamp down at the bottom on one of the other side here, and you can look away and come back. I'll let you know when it's safe to come back so that you don't have the surprise of what's going on with the knit. That surprise isn't ruined for you. So here is my progress so far. Here is what the first clue and a teensy tiny bit of the second clue look like. So it's a really cute colorwork pattern, as per usual with Youre Knits patterns. They're gorgeous colorwork designs. So this is one I'm using Knit Picks palette for this. I don't recall the colorway names on this, but it's a red burgundy kind of color, mossy green, and kind of a yellowish color. I'm not 100% thrilled with the color choice that I made now that I've got it partly done, but it is what it is. The other thing with these is that for my hand, they're a little bit, and granted, I have big man hands, and these are a little bit, there's just not a lot of wiggle room on these. I'm hoping that it gets a little bit roomier once I get up into the hand, but for now, they do seem to be just a little bit on the snug side for my hands. I considered maybe going up a needle size on both the cuff and then on the body of the mitten, but I don't have one more needle size up from what I'm using. Right now I'm using a 2.25 millimeter and a 2.5 millimeter. I don't have a spare 3.0 millimeter. I think probably it would have been better if I had done these. Oh, and if you're looking away, you can look back now. I put the mittens down, or the mitten down, so it's safe to look back now. But anyway, I don't have a 3 millimeter needle. I think what probably would be a better sizing for me would be to do them in a 2.5 for the cuff and a 3 millimeter for the body of the mitten. But I don't have a spare 3 millimeter needle. So I'll probably continue working on them. I'll probably give them away as a gift once they're done, because they probably will be a little bit too snug for my hand. So, and I'll probably very easily be able to find another woman who has smaller hands than me. That's not a huge challenge to find a lady who has smaller hands than these big man hands there. Yeah, I have large hands. Oh well. So those are my Julenatt Mittens, mystery a mystery mitten pattern by Youre Knits that I started up a couple weeks ago, and I'm slowly making a little bit of progress on them. I'm hoping I can get I really hope I can get a fair bit more done on them this upcoming week, but we shall see. The second work in progress that I've spent a bit of time on this past week are my vanilla Christmas socks. So these they've seen some progress. not a lot. The last time I showed you them, I was at the marker here, so I've only added maybe an inch and a half of length to them. This is a project I usually only work on Wednesday evenings and on Sunday mornings. So they're both times when I'm at church and have some spare time where I have some quiet time where I can listen to things that are going on and knit at the same time. And I enjoy having a project that doesn't require a whole lot of um, a whole lot of thinking power and a whole lot of focus. I can just happily just knit around in circles. So I'll have to take the tape measure to it because the foot is coming along quite nicely. But again, I have big hands. I also have big feet. I have a big head too. Oh my goodness. Anyway, I have a large foot. So my guess is that I still have several more inches left to go it's time to start moving down towards the toe on here. But they're coming along not too badly. The yarn I'm using is a yarn that I dyed myself. The base was Knit Pick Stroll Fingering Bear. That's the other word I needed for that. But it's a Knit Picks Bear yarn. I dyed it myself using, I think it was just food coloring I used for this one. So it's just a very basic, nothing fancy kind of dyeing on it. But I'm really liking the way the yarn is pooling and the way it's turning out. The socks are going to be, or they are part of the festive sock along that Amy Florence is hosting over on her Stranded podcast. Though I was watching her podcast earlier today, and the deadline for submitting finished socks for the sock along is coming up before I'm going to be able to finish the socks. I think the deadline is the last day of November. And while I'm filming this, we are on the last day of November, and it's getting closer to 6 o'clock at night. So the odds that I'll have it finished and ready to post pictures of it before midnight tonight, it's not going to happen. So, but anyway, they will be finished before Christmas, and I will get to wear them sometime during the festive season. It'll be a pair of socks that will go into my Christmas sock box or Christmas sock basket. So it will be something that will be included in that basket. I'm hoping over the next couple of years that I'll be able to achieve the goal that Amy set for herself by knitting and having a pair of hand knit socks to wear each day beginning the 1st of December leading up until Christmas Day. So I've got a little ways to go. I've got one pair almost done, and I have several pair that are in my sock collection that I'll probably snaffle from my general sock collection. I'll put them into the basket so I can have them to wear next year, or at least to get started wearing some of them this year. So anyway, that's my vanilla Christmas socks. It's just a basic vanilla recipe that I'm following. I'm not using any specific pattern. It's top down. I cast on 64 stitches using 2.25 millimeter needles, and I'm doing them 2 at a time. I originally started out, I knit one cuff, and then I knit the second cuff, and then I joined them together, and have been doing them 2 at a time since then. My typical sock I enjoy doing, my typical vanilla sock, I like doing 64 stitches, top down, heel flap and gusset, and then a wedge toe on it. And that seems to fit my foot quite nicely. So that's my vanilla Christmas socks. I'm hoping that within the next couple of weeks I'll be able to show you a finished object and you'll actually get to see them finished, as opposed to hearing me talk about them every week for the last quite a while. So that's my second main work in progress. My final work in progress that I've spent some time on this past week, this hair, I have no idea what's Anyway, the hair appointment I was talking about last week hasn't happened yet. clearly. Anyway, my third and final work in progress that I've probably spent the most time on this project in the past week is the Advent scarf for 2018, and it's a pattern that is put out by Trisha Weatherstone, and she is the person who is behind the sock madness phenomena that you see a lot of people participating in. Yours truly will be one of them that will be. I enjoy doing sock madness, and I participate in every year, and I have for several years now. But each year she creates an Advent scarf or a cowl, and it's something to a lot of the people that are a lot of the people that are involved with sock madness. By the time we're getting towards this time of year, we're starting to get antsy. We're ready to start thinking about knitting socks again, and we're kind of eager to wait for February to come around for starting to register for the competition. So what Trisha started doing was she started coming up with a scarf pattern that she would put out clues through the Advent season, and it would give a lot of the people that were involved with Sock Madness something to work on leading up until Christmas. It's also something that she set up and has geared towards not forcing us, but giving us the opportunity to give ourselves a little bit of me time. So each and every one of us to give just some us time where we have a sock pattern, or not sock pattern, a scarf pattern, where what she does is she releases a small portion of the pattern each day, each morning throughout the Advent season. And it gives us the opportunity to sit down, have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, hot cocoa, whatever it is you like, to sit down, have a nice warm beverage, cold if you prefer, and just spend a little bit of quiet time yourself with your knitting. And there's so many things going on this time of year that keep us so busy and so occupied that doing this Advent scarf is a really nice little bit of a breather time for each of us. So that was one of her main purposes for doing this, and one of the main goals is to give us that little bit of downtime every day. So this year the pattern started up earlier than it usually does. She sent out the first clue, or the preliminary clue, the beginning of November, with information about what the gauge was, what kind of needle size we might be needing, what type of yarn we would be needing for this. And she gave us the first clue, which was the first 13 rows for the ribbing on the scarf. And then the subsequent clues and the regular clues began coming out on November 24th. And they will come out every morning from November 24th until the morning of Christmas Eve. And each day the clue is 15 rows. So it's not a huge knitting commitment. There's, I think, 56 or 57 stitches per row. So it works out to 855 stitches per day right now, unless the stitch count increases or decreases later. I don't know. So right now we have 1 week's worth of clues knit up, plus the preliminary part. Last week on my podcast, I was able to show you the ribbing and the first clue, and I'm up to date on this. This is one so far I've been able to keep up with it, and here's crossing my fingers that I'll be able to keep up with it through the rest of the month as well. And so this is the project I worked on the most for the past week. So if you are working on this scarf and you're not up to date and you want it to remain a surprise, you look away for a few minutes. I will put a timestamp down someplace here when it's safe for you to look back. So here's what it's looking like right now. It's kind of scrunchy and bunchy. It hasn't been blocked. So, but here's where I'm at right now. So the markers are indicating the end of each day. The light blue markers, which are probably kind of hard to differentiate between the light blue and the green markers. These two blue markers are showing what I did the first 2 days. The ribbing section here was our preliminary clue, and then this was the first clue that came out November 24th. And then we've had the green markers are indicating the end of the next several days since then. So my progress since I showed you this last week, I had these two clues finished last week. So here was the clue from the 25th of November, the 26th of November, the 27th, the 28th, the 29th of November, and today. I'm filming this today on the 30th of November. So these are all the clues. I'm hoping this is showing up not too badly on the screen. Oopsie. So again, it's unblocked. It's just kind of all scrunchy and bunchy. The lace and the cables will open up and look a lot nicer once it's been blocked after Christmas. So if you looked away, it's safe to look back again now. I put the scarf down. So that's my Advent scarf for 2018. I've kept up with the clues so far up until today, the 30th of November, when I'm taping this. And I'm hoping I keep up with it for the remainder of the next 3 weeks or whatever it is till Christmas. 3 weeks? 3 or 4 weeks. So those are my works in progress. I did not cast on anything new this week. Good stuff, Karen. Sorry, itchy. The only other thing that's, I guess, new around here is that I'm also going to be participating in Vlogmas this year. I filmed earlier today, I filmed bits and pieces for my introduction clip to Vlogmas. I will be posting that tomorrow morning. I will be posting my podcast later on tomorrow, depending on when everything gets done with the editing and so on. So I'll have 2 videos coming out tomorrow. I will have all my Vlogmas videos shown in a separate playlist. So if it's something you're interested in watching, that'd be fantastic. I suspect, and I'm hoping to keep the videos between 5 and 10 minutes each day. The first one, though, is 17 or 18 minutes. I had a few extra things I wanted to do and talk about with that, but I'm going to try to keep the other ones hopefully shorter than they were today. I'm going to be posting them on a 1 day late type of schedule. What I'll do is I filmed today with what my plans are for Vlogmas, and I will post that onto YouTube tomorrow morning on December 1st, and I will call it Vlogmas 2018 Day 0. And then tomorrow, on the 1st of December, I will spend the day doing different little video clips here and there through the day. I will get the editing done before I go to bed tomorrow night. I will let the exporting and uploading happen during the night, and I will get the video uploaded in the morning on the 2nd. So the material for Vlogmas Day 1 will be published on December 2nd. The material for the 2nd will be published on the 3rd, and so on. So I'm going to be a day late all the way through. So if those are something you're interested in watching, it'd be fantastic. I plan on opening 3 Advent calendars. I have a tea calendar, I have a chocolate calendar, and I also have a sock yarn calendar that I did a swap with my friend Tracy in England. So that arrived a couple days ago, I think just on Wednesday. Yeah, on Wednesday it arrived. So I'll be opening that up each day through, or each of those 3 advent calendars. I'll be opening those up, and I'll put a little video clip of what was in each of the little calendar thingies. I'll talk about each of those each day, and then I just plan on spending a bit of time just showing you some of the things I do during the day. So some of it might just be basic everyday stuff, out and about, doing some shopping, lounging around, knitting. There's there will be knitting. I will show you updates of what I've done on my Advent scarf. I'm hoping to also be able to show you some updates on the Advent mittens, the Skandir knits mittens. That was hard to say. So I will be posting little clips of those as I get some more progress done on those. And otherwise, it'll just be little clips and bits of just my regular day-to-day life. There'll probably be a few little clips of other crafty things that I might be doing. I hope to get a little bit of taping done when we get our tree set up and all of that done. So it'll have all kinds of random things in it. I will continue posting my regular podcasts on sometime over the weekend, hopefully on Saturdays. If not Saturdays, then it'll go up on Sunday morning. If the exporting and uploading takes too long, I'll get it published the next morning on Sunday morning. But I will continue having my regular knitting content will be on those as on the regular podcast as well. I might have a few little clips of some of the knitting I'm doing during the vlogs as well, during Vlogmas. I hope I didn't say Vlogtober before. I think I said Vlogmas. Anyway, I think that's about it for today. It's a little bit shorter episode. I think I might actually clock in at under half an hour today. Yay, Karen. I hope you had a fantastic week. I hope you have a fantastic week coming up. I look forward to spending a bit of time with you again next week. So take care, everyone, and like and subscribe. Hit the little bell button for notifications when I post new videos, and I'll see you guys again soon. Bye now.